the sunshine of Arizona and Cactus League Baseball. Royals fans coming down to the desert to watch their American League champion Kansas City Royals take on the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This, of course, is Rex Hudler, and Royals fans will have an opportunity to see the guy who will start on opening day, Yordano Ace Ventura.
That's right. He has the chance to fulfill that name, Ace. No James Shields. It's all about Ventura, and I think he earned it, Fizz. Beating the world champs in Game 6, shutting them down. He's got the skills. There's no doubt about it. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and we can watch Ventura give his final tune-up before the regular season starts.
14 wins, a 3.2 ERA, and, of course, winning Game 6 of the World Series, knocking off the San Francisco Giants. Tonight, it will be Yordano Ventura with that electric fastball that reaches 100 miles an hour against the team many expect to win the American League West, the Seattle Mariners.
Baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City, and when it starts, we'll see that opening day battery of Yordano Ventura and Salvador Perez. Joel Goldberg right by the Royals dugout. We'll have interviews throughout the game once again, but talking to some of the new players on the Royals, and they say what they notice immediately: the youth, the defense, the energy. Edison Volquez saying a lot of that comes from someone like Yordano Ventura. They play catch every day. He said, man, that guy, he's hurting my hand. He's breaking in my glove and wearing it out because he throws so hard, but he really loves that guy on this team, Yordano Ventura. And he says of Salvador Perez and the energy, he's like a tornado. Every day he comes into the clubhouse, first one here, and he pretty much wears out anyone in his path, getting everybody fired up. Ventura and Perez coming up here on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Joel, thank you very much. And there he is, Mr. Enthusiasm, Salvador Perez. And Lloyd McClendon led Seattle to an 87-75 record last year, one game back of Oakland for the final wild card spot. And here's a look at his batting order as you see it. Nelson Cruz is the big story because he led the major leagues in home runs last year with 40, and Seattle really needed a boost to their offense.
That's right, but you know what? Catcher Mike Zunino, he's no slouch when it comes to power. Fizz, he's already got 4 home runs this year. He's got some pop as a catcher. He'll be good.
Well, Giordano lights up the radar gun at 95 miles an hour, but he misses high and outside to Andy Chavez, who was with the Royals back in 2001. Last year with Seattle, hit .276. Very good defensive outfielder, but bidding for a backup spot in the big league team this year.
Yeah, and Ventura, he brings the goods. Everybody knows that. He's no secret anymore around the league. 93 to 102 is what he'll max out at.
Chavez hits it in the air left side, and Moustakas with a long run, and Moose gets there in time. Let's take a look at that Royals defense. You just saw Mike Moustakas. The Royals, many believe, have the finest defense in baseball, most athletic.
They have 3 current Gold Glovers. They could easily have 5. You throw Lorenzo Cain and Escobar into that mix, believe it. This team is unbelievable. We told you last broadcast that the outfield saved 93 defensive runs saved. Incredible. Salvador Perez deserves a lot of love. 2nd straight year he's won a Gold Glove. Has the energy, has the arm, has the bat. We hope that Ned Hopes can be consistent all year long. But I'll tell you, the energy that Salvi brings, the rest of that staff, is one of the reasons why the Royals pitching staff, from starters to the bullpen, is one of the best in baseball.
Well, here is Seth Smith, who the Mariners acquired from the San Diego Padres in the offseason, a veteran out of Ole Miss. And for Giordano Ventura, this is his 4th Cactus League start and first since March 16th. He last pitched in a minor league game, tossing 5 innings versus the Mariners AAA team. And Smith takes that off-speed pitch away. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Super Dave Island, the Royals pitching coach in his 4th season with the Royals. He told me before the game that Ventura.
Smith does have power and hits this one well to left field. Gordon is at the wall to pull it down.
And how many times did we see that from Alex Gordon? He won his 4th straight Gold Glove this past season. But Dave Island said for tonight's outing for Ventura, it's all about just refining. It's going to go between what Dave hopes 90 to 100 pitches. This will be his last start that he gives that many pitches. Now he'll go 1 more, but he'll only go 60 or so pitches because they want him to make sure that he saves all of his power and his stamina for opening day against the White Sox.
And we'll talk with Dave Island on the field a little bit later in tonight's broadcast. Now it's the number 3 hitter Kyle Seager, who had a terrific year last year, and they signed him to a long-term deal in the offseason. 25 home runs, 96 driven in last year. He's 11 for 35 with a couple of home runs this spring. Fouled off, and the count moves to 1-2. But the last time we saw Giordano Ventura in a non-spring training game was Game 6 of the World Series. The Royals had to have a win. He shut down the San Francisco Giants in a 10-0 victory with 7 shutout innings, and that's one of the reasons Ned Yost said, "You are my opening day starter."
That's right. He's the new ace.
Line sharply to left, but Gordon plays it well and makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3 first inning for Giordano Ventura. Ned Yost's Royals have the second most wins in Cactus League play at 14. They have a record of 14-9, and they host Seattle with 10 wins, 12 losses, and 2 ties. And here's a look at Kansas City's starting lineup. They will lead things off with Alcides Escobar, and this is a very typical lineup of what we will see when the regular season begins. Escobar, Gordon, Kane, then Hosmer, Morales, Perez, Moustakas, Orlando, and Infante. Alex Rios, if he is healthy, will get the call on opening day, but Ned wants to rest Rios because of a injured right thumb for this weekend, but he really felt that he should be ready to go on Monday. Well, here is James Paxton, talented young left-hander out of British Columbia.
I'll say 6'4", 220. He's got the goods, Fizz. And tonight, in this spring training wrap-up here for our games here on Fox Sports Kansas City, we're featuring 2 of the hardest throwing young pitchers the American League saw last year. This James Paxton, he can reach 98 to 99. He can really bring it. He's got some nice secondary pitches. He's a lefty, big guy, very similar as far as Ventura goes. Good power, good stuff, bright future.
Unfortunately, you see the only one start. It was because during an agilities drill, he slipped and fell and caught himself with his right wrist, and he injured that right wrist, slowed by forearm stiffness. But he came back and pitched well in the last outing. He has fallen behind Alcides Escobar. Nesky likely taking here. They want him to be a little more disciplined than he's been in the past, but a .299 career on-base percentage. He takes it low ball 4 and walks.
Well, speaking of walks, that's just Esky's second walk of the spring. Hello.
Well, how about the defense as we see Mike Zunino behind home plate, and some of their big leaguers have been left back in Peoria. Logan Morrison will not get the start. It'll be Rivero, a minor leaguer at first base. But Kyle Seager, Dustin Ackley, a couple of starters in that lineup. Here is Alex Gordon. And how do you like this look with Alex moving from really down in the order to number 2, where they'll break up a couple of right-handers in Escobar and Kane?
I like it. Especially watching Alex swing here in the games. Now, we watch him during batting practice. It's a whole different ball game when you're hitting 60-mile-an-hour fastball pitches from the coach. But Alex, watching him in game speed, he's been really short with his swing, using the opposite field nicely. You know, he's hitting the number 2 spot's going to keep him on the ball short to it. He's not going to be trying to stroke that ball to the ballpark like they wanted him to do last year. They put him down in the order, hoping he'd hit for a higher average.
Didn't mean to do it, but rolls it back to James Paxton, who throws him out. Escobar, meantime, takes second base. So the Royals have a man in scoring position for Lorenzo Cain. And it's just good to see Gordon back. He was slowed by that right wrist surgery in early January, and coming back, the Royals being very cautious with him. And he hasn't had that many at bats, just 17 now in Cactus League play. Kane had a wonderful postseason. MVP of the American League Championship Series victory over Baltimore.
Lorenzo is looking really good this spring. Dale Swaim's happy with his production. You know, although the numbers, you know, they're not that big a deal as far as spring numbers go. They don't count real heavily, but they like his approach at the plate. They like the way he's staying up the middle with his swing, staying inside the baseball. And there's no reason why he can't be successful like he was towards the end of the year in that 3-hole. He's not going to be a prototypical power type 3-hole hitter, but he's going to drive in his share of runs by staying in the middle of the field and using the gaps.
And he talked about that. He said he is not going to change. Remember, he only hit 5 home runs. They think he's got more in him, but he is more of a line drive hitter. And there is Dale Swaim taking over as the hitting instructor for Ned Yost, and they were together in Milwaukee. A 3-1 count. Paxton opened the game with 5 straight wide of the mark and was able to get Gordon a comebacker. And he's expected to be part of this Seattle rotation along with Felix Hernandez, Iwakuma, J. Happ, and probably Taijuan Walker, who's been tremendous this spring. There's a ground ball right side that will get Escobar to third, but now 2 out.
Got to be quick with to the ball with your bat. Like I said, both of these guys bring the high heat. Paxton last year, he was ranked 7th in the American League with a fastball that averaged 94.4. Giordano Ventura for the Royals, he was 2nd in the American League with an average of 96 miles an hour on his fastball. So when that happens, you're facing guys like that. You don't have to do a lot with the bat. You just want to stay short to the ball and let that power of the pitch supply the power off your bat. Just stay short.
Hosmer now with a 2-0 count as Paxton has had to battle back from down in the count each time. Hosmer with a couple of home runs this spring. And he cracks that one well. And that is way back and over the Mariners bullpen for a 2-run home run. That got out quickly.
And that's because he did exactly what I was talking about. Staying short with his swing. That was not a mid-season Hosmer swing that we were used to seeing last year. How long it was. Watch how short he is. Whoa. That ball's down and in. Let's take a look at him from a side angle here. Look at it. He's got a flamingo kick, but he just picks it up and sets it down, opens up that long stride, and takes his hands right to the ball and almost knocked that fan down.
Well, Paxton pitching behind in the count entirely. You knew that Hosmer would be looking for the heater, and he got one to his liking and hit it like a bolt of lightning out. Here's Kendrys Morales. He finished last year with the Seattle Mariners, and the previous season in 2013 had 23 home runs for Seattle. Only 8 last year in a split season with Minnesota and also Seattle. Morales is out, but the Royals get 2 on Hosmer's 2-run bomb and take the lead. And when we come back, we'll talk to that man, the general manager, Dayton Moore, part of last year's great celebration. The Royals with a 2-0 lead. Eric Hosmer went deep over the right field wall. Steve Physioc, Rex Sudler. We're now joined by Royals general manager Dayton Moore. And Dayton, just the way camp has gone thus far, very organized, but one thing I'm sure you like to see, the health has been pretty good.
It has, and that's the main thing. I mean, spring training is obviously to get the pitching ready, and other than the hiccup we had with Timmy Collins, which was a major setback. Timmy, I thought, threw the ball for us very well last year towards the end, and we were really counting on him in our bullpen this year. And unfortunately, he had a setback his first outing, and but the type of worker he is, he'll get back there in due time. But everybody's responded well.
Dayton, wasn't that about the time that Hoach went down last year? First outing.
Yeah.
Now, why could that be? Maybe trying too much a little bit earlier?
I think it can be. But I think it's truthfully, it's, as you know, HUD, those first 12 days to 2 weeks of spring training, they're pivotal with your pitchers. And if you can get through that first 2 weeks, you got a chance to get them through spring train healthy, and then it's the first 6 weeks of the major league season, because the intensity level, as you know, is going to pick up when the umpire says play ball at the K April 6th. I mean, it's going to change.
Dayton, you always talk about organizational depth. That's why you went out and got Franklin Morales. That's why you traded for Brian Flynn, and both have pitched well in spring.
They have. They really have. And, you will see Brian Flynn again tonight. I believe he's on the slate to throw, and he's been impressive. He's very imposing, very strong, powerful left-handed pitcher, and the fact that we put him in the bullpen, he's limited his arsenal, and he's focusing on his power fastball and a slider, and he's perfecting that pitch in a way that I think's gives him a chance to really match up. HUD, and you're right, he's very downhill, got great plane, and he's hard to square up. So hopefully he continues.
Speaking of opening day, Dayton, how about the young ace Ventura? Now, we can call him ace. You guys don't have to, but wasn't that in part of his name?
Well, we're proud of Giordano. He's came a long way. He's always been a very poised, tough-minded, a little stubborn, truthfully, coming through the minor leagues in a good way. And I think those character traits serve him well. There's no fear as a part of who he is. And he comes out there, takes the ball, he competes, and once he begins to perfect the command of all of his pitches more consistently, he's got a chance to win a lot of games in the major leagues.
Dayton, could you explain that stubborn in a good way?
Well, I just think he's got strong beliefs and convictions with what he does, and so that's probably a better way to put it. He takes to coaching. He listens to his peers, but he's also got his own thoughts and his own ideas, and that's important if you're going to be a top rotation pitcher.
And I would imagine you were so proud the way he pitched in Game 6 of the World Series against the San Francisco Giants as a rookie with 7 shutout innings.
Well, we had no doubt that he was going to rise to that challenge and give us a chance to win that game. And the bats were alive there, and there was great energy and electricity in the ballpark, as there always is. And Giordano, as I said, he rose to the occasion and gave us everything we needed.
And Danny Duffy going in the 2 spot. It seems like Ned wanted to follow up power with more power.
I think so. Duff for about 2 months last year, as we all know, was probably one of the better pitchers in the American League, and he had that injury with his rib and a little shoulder irritation that kind of set him back, stalled him, and he didn't be able to finish it strong. But he's in great shape. He's put on a few pounds in a good way coming into spring training. He's in a terrific frame of mind. He was recently married, got married in the off season, and he's just growing up and becoming a man.
And now we're seeing Dustin Ackley, who had a breakout year for Seattle last year with 14 home runs and 65 RBIs, but this year he might be sharing that left field role with Ricky Weeks. And Giordano Ventura has fallen behind 3 balls and no strikes, and Ackley is given the green light and pops it up foul and out of play. Dayton, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the discipline, the organization that you guys show. And I brought one of the sheets out that everybody prints up. Don Wakamatsu puts together the major league organization. Chino Katahia does a great job with the minor leaguers. And I've talked to older scouts with different organizations, and they say Kansas City, their discipline, their organization, brilliant during Cactus League play, and that's why they're so consistent during the season. Could you talk about that, what you brought from your Atlanta experience?
Well, I mean, we believe in and trying to, perfect practice. And you try for perfection with everything that you do. You know that it's a game of failure. You have to be able to manage that. But, we're very, very intentional about everything that we do. Very precise things. Start on time. They end on time. There's a lot of accountability in that clubhouse. And if you're raising young players, you have to have structure, because we believe it's in our nature as human beings to want to cut corners. And you need those leaders in place. They're going to create, like I said, structure and guidelines to make sure that you stay disciplined, because this game is going to demand that you stay disciplined and persistent and very intentional, with what you do. And, Don Wakamatsu does an incredible job, as is Chino Katahito, Pedro Grifal, Dale Swain, Dave Island, Mike Jershely. Everybody is spectacular, at what they do. And I got to give Ned a lot of credit, because Ned empowers our coaches. He believes in them, he trusts them, and so you lets him go to work.
Dayton, got to ask you a question, even though there's 2 outs, real quickly. Having played for the New York Yankees and the Cardinals, and of the 6 teams I got to play for, those have the most world championships. There was a reason for that. Their minor leagues were disciplined. Every player had their pants bloused. They showed blue. There was no long hair, no earrings. Everyone was the same. And one thing that I noticed in this is my 4th year now with your organization, all of your players are well disciplined. I like to spend my first few days here in camp to go down there and see where the nuts and bolts. They run from station to station. It's very impressive how you run your minor league system, and there's no wonder that so many of these good young players are coming from in that. Can you talk about the discipline and how important that is?
It's crucial. Like I said, the discipline aspect of being successful in this game, you have to learn it at an early age. And our scouts do an incredible job of identifying those players that really love to play, have a great heart and passion to win. And then, J.J. Piccolo and Scott Sharp and all of our guys do a great job reinforcing and creating the type of environment necessary for them to succeed.
Ventura with a strikeout. We'll come back, visit more with the Royals general manager, Dayton Moore, right after this. Lead 2-0 on a Hosmer home run, and we want you to know that General Manager Dayton Moore is with us, and he is hosting, along with a dear friend of his, Bob Allen from Bob Allen Ford, the first pitch luncheon April 8th at noon, and all proceeds will benefit initiatives of the See You in the Major Leagues, a nonprofit organization. And as James Paxson gets ready to deliver to Kendrys Morales, or Salvador Perez, I beg your pardon, could you tell us about that luncheon that will take place on April 8th?
Yeah, it's something we're really proud of. First pitch luncheon, and our foundation, the See in the Major Leagues Foundation, was created to support the following 4 areas. We like to call them the 4 bases, and that's youth baseball, families in crisis, education and faith-based organization and events. But it's going to be a great event. Get an opportunity to introduce our 2015 players, alumni, coaching staff, and there's going to be some great auction items as well. And right there at Arrowhead Stadium at 11:30. And it's going to be a great event. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Rex Hudler's sons played for your team, and he said, as great a general manager as Dayton Moore is, he's a better coach. And can you talk about why this program is important to you?
Well, it's, again, my heart, the thing I'm most proud of what we've done here in Kansas City is I believe we've grown the game of baseball. I believe that more kids are playing because of the success of our team, and we got great fans and great support here. And one of the reasons we've been so successful, I believe, over the last few years is because of the great support of our fans, and our players have responded and connected, with the community. And I think because of that connection, more kids are playing, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that we're supporting that.
And once again, there's the information. If you want to go online, CYITML.com. See you in the major leagues.
But also, Dayton, besides that, you guys are able to help out families in crisis. And gosh, you can look everywhere. There are those type of families all over. That's really special that you would step up and take care of some families that need help.
Yeah, and it comes from our owner. I mean, Mr. Glass and Dan Glass, I mean, they've got a heart for people and a heart for charity. And, they've made it real easy, for people like me to get involved in the community and do some things that we think can benefit others.
Well, Moustakas hits it hard, but right at the second baseman, who turns it into a 4-6-3 double play. So 2 outs now in the second inning. Well, let's get back to the organization. You added several pitchers this year, and 2 very interesting ones. Eddie Volquez from Pittsburgh, who had a fine year, but also a late signing of Chris Young, which surprised everybody. And I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, is there an injury? But no, it was just about depth.
We were on both of those pitchers very early. Chris Young was really one of the first guys we reached out to, and I think we had about 173 off of him last year as a team. And sometimes you can get in trouble by evaluating players based on how they perform against your team. But we liked him. He fits our ballpark. He throws a lot of strikes. He's a fly ball guy. He's smart. He's a preparer, and we feel like that he can give us the amount of innings. And but we were unable to get a deal, but we stayed with him, and he's going to impact our pitching staff in a positive way and throughout the year. And as you know, you need about at least eight pitchers in your organization that can start throughout the course of the year. So he's going to be a big part of our success.
Another part of your disciplining in the minor league system, Dayton, is that you use this time in spring training to hold meetings, to empower these players, to encourage them. This year, I showed up at 8 o'clock and I saw Kurt Warner, Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl champ, holding court with your players. Tell us about that. How do you get these guys, and what's your whole purpose behind that?
Well, every year we try to bring in a few people that we feel that can carry out the message that we try to bring on a daily basis. And I know that Ronnie Richardson reached out to Kurt and his people, and he lives here in Arizona, and obviously he's got an incredible story and ties to the Midwest, as we all know. And he's an incredible leader, and to get another person that can lead in an inspirational way in front of our players is very, very important, and just gives them a chance to ask questions and be transparent, and a different authority figure that perhaps they may be a little more comfortable with.
And I got to listen to some of that, and some of the things Warner was saying was, be who you are, don't try to be somebody else, learn from your mistakes, don't be afraid to fail. Valuable stuff for your young players.
Very much so. Very much so. And like we said, you've got to be able to manage failure and be a great teammate if you're going to be successful. And Kurt's message was right on.
Dayton, thank you very much. That's okay. Royals General Manager Dayton Moore.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Hud.
Have a good season.
We'll see you.
Way to go, Skip.
Thanks.
Get out to right field over the Mariners bullpen in about 2 seconds to make the Royals up 2-0. So Yordano Ventura, who has shut out Seattle through 2, will face the bottom of the order, and that means Tyler Smith, Raider Escanio, and then Andy Chavez. Now, Tyler Smith, only 23 years of age, came out of a great college program at Oregon State. He won a couple of national championships.
These guys may not be household names, Fizz, but I'm going to tell you what, for them, this is the World Series appearance for them. They're in the show. Got a chance to show off and face one of the American League's best and most dominant pitchers.
And Ventura has Smith down 1 ball 2 strikes. He had Rivero, a young player out of Venezuela, down 2 strikes, and then threw him a wicked breaking ball to strike him out to end the second. Let's see if he goes back to that breaker. Ooh. Yes, he does.
Well, old Uncle Charlie, after all them fastballs, Fizz, is not a pleasant thing for any hitter. Whether you're a veteran or you wear number 93, you got to go. A little buckle there. Hey, been there. That's okay, young man. You'll get another shot.
And now we'll see Raider Escanio, and he's the shortstop. And HUD, at the end of the break, you said, man, who is the shortstop with the arm? This kid just turned 19.
I saw fresh legs. I saw a tremendous throwing arm. And now let's see if he's got any speed.
Well, he's thrown out by the Royals' second baseman, Omar Infante.
That's one of the many beautiful things about spring training, Fizz, is you get to see the young players. You get to see them up close. And even the veteran guys. Fans get close here. I mean, this beautiful ballpark here in Surprise. Fans in Kansas City really enjoy coming here so they can get close to them. You know, there's maybe 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people here, but it's a close environment, really fun, relaxing, and of course, the weather's off the charts.
And the 2 position players that a lot of fans haven't seen yet, who really open eyes in Cactus League play, are an outfielder by the name of Brett Eibner and a young shortstop by the name of Raul Mondesi. They've really played well in Cactus League play. Both have been sent down to minor leagues. And Escobar with a fine over-the-shoulder catch. Yordano Ventura, 3 shutout innings. When we come back, we'll visit with Royals pitching coach Dave Island, one of the best. Time to visit with Royals pitching coach Dave Island, one of the very best in the game. The Royals last year were 4th in the American League in ERA, 3.51, but Dave also put together one of the greatest bullpens in Major League history with 3 guys with an ERA under 1.5. And Dave, I wanted to ask you first about tonight's starter, Yordano Ventura. How many pitches you'd like to see him throw, what you'd like to see from Yordano before he makes that final start, which will be probably less pitches.
Yeah, we want to get him to at least 90, somewhere between 90 and 100, but at least 90. Then his last start, we're going to back him off to about 4 innings or 60 pitches, whoever comes first, just to ensure that he goes into his first start in the regular season good and strong.
Super Dave Ireland, congratulations on your magical run last year and how good you've been working those guys. Now, Fizz, he introduced you as a fourth best last year, but the year before that, you had the best ERA pitching in the American League. How are you getting it done?
Well, talented pitchers, that's how you get it done. I mean, it's all about the players. Always has been, always will be. And these guys are extremely talented. I just got to, make sure they maintain themselves properly, watch their workload, make sure they stay within their deliveries or protect their arm. Our training staff does a tremendous job, as does our strength and conditioning staff. So, it's a group effort, but the bottom line is these guys are talented.
Now, I watched you this afternoon earlier on a side session with our new pitcher, Edison Volquez. And I was just standing back watching, and he looks to me like he's got some really good stuff. Can you tell our fans a little bit about him?
Yeah, a veteran guy's been around a while, had a tremendous year in Pittsburgh last year. Nothing he throws is straight. But the thing with Volke is, we have to get him down in the zone consistently. Sometimes he wants to get the ball out of his glove late. When that happens, he doesn't get to his arm slot in time. And he pitches up to the zone. That's when he gets hit a little bit. But we get him consistent, getting his hand out of his glove and getting his arm up to a slot on time. We're going to see some good stuff down the zone. And the best hitters are going to be able to do is beat the ball on the ground.
Dave, I wanted to talk with you about some of the adjustments that you were able to make last year. A guy like Yordano Ventura, who we're watching tonight, I remember you telling me that sometimes his front side would open up too soon, the front elbow would be up, and it was hard to get the ball down with that combination. You worked with him on the side, and the next start was absolutely dominating. He was able to get that fastball down. Here we're seeing a ground ball to the shortstop again, and Escobar is out at first base. Could you talk about what you see with an athlete as talented as Ventura, and does he have a complicated delivery?
No. He doesn't. When he's on and he doesn't fly open with that front side, and he stays on line and finishes over his front side, then it's some, it's way above average stuff down through the zone. With his, his fastball, his cutter, his curveball, and his changeup. He's come off the delivery a few times tonight. When he tries to throw 105 is when he does it. When he's just happy with 97 to 99 is when he stays in there and everything's there. But this kid's talent is through the roof. I mean, it's incredible. He's very special, and that's why he's getting the opening day assignment here in a couple weeks.
Now, you think nerves will be a factor for him, especially pitching in the World Series, having 2 starts? I mean, do you think he'll really be uptight, Dave? Opening day?
No, I mean, he was on the biggest stage in the world, last year in Game 6. He threw 7 shutout innings. I mean, not only is this kid special with his physical ability, I mean, this kid wants to be good. He wants to be great. And as good as he is, as talented he is, he works even harder than what his ability is.
Dave, it goes fast. Can you stay with us another half inning?
I don't know, Hud. It's a busy night. It's been a long day and a long spring, but I'll see what I can do.
Come on, man. Nice talking to you.
All right.
2-0 Royals lead the Mariners, and if you take a look behind Ned Yost there, that would be the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, taking in now his Royals. So good to see the football coach here. And down in the Royals dugout, guys are definitely into this one. One of the newest Royals, just heard the guys talking about him, Chris Young, who is every bit of 6'10", making me feel like I'm about 5'2". But Chris, here you are with this new team, signed late. You've had a chance to be around them now for a few weeks. What have you seen now being in this dugout and in the clubhouse with them?
Well, it's just a great group of guys. I mean, you could tell that last year playing across the diamond from them, and then obviously coming in late, and everybody's been extremely welcoming, outgoing, and making me fit right in and feel at home. So it's a great group, and I'm excited to be part of it.
It's interesting, and you and I were talking about this maybe last week, that we're starting to see players from around baseball say, I want to go there for a chance to win a championship. Certainly veterans like yourself. How much has that changed over the years? Because I don't think players thought that way in the past.
Yeah, you know, I think everybody plays the game to win. It's why we all play. It's what you want to do. It's the objective of the game. And certainly at this stage in my career, I want to be part of a winning team. You could see the chemistry last year, the way the guys cared about one another, and that's something that you want to be part of. And so that was certainly a factor in my decision. Like I said, I'm extremely happy to be here and look forward to contributing any way I can.
One of the beauties, I think, of this game is that you could have a guy that is 6'10", that throws. Your fastball is what?
A lot slower than it used to be, but you know, it's 86 to 88 right now.
And my point is, then you get a kid out there like Yordano Ventura at about 6 foot that can throw 100 miles an hour. Your impressions of him, and just the way, you know, this game can be so diverse.
Yeah, that's the beauty of baseball, is that you know, we come in all shapes and sizes and different backgrounds, and you know, it's a great thing. It's what makes this game great, and so it's fun watching him. He's extremely talented. The arm speaks for itself, and to see the competitiveness and the work ethic and things like that, those are things that you don't quite get to appreciate as a competitor, as you know, playing on the other side. So now as a teammate, you get to pick up on that stuff, and it's fun to watch.
And who knows where you'll be throughout the year, like you said, whatever you need to do. But you obviously came here knowing that it'd probably be a bullpen spot at least to start. How comfortable are you in that type of role?
You know, pitching's pitching. You got to get outs, no matter whether you start or relieve. It's you know, the same game. So it's, you know, something I don't have a lot of experience with, but I'm comfortable that you know, I'm not a rookie. I've done this a time or two. I know what I need to do to prepare myself, and you know, when I take the ball, I'll go out and give my best effort and hopefully be successful.
You jump in now to one of the best, if not the best, bullpens in all of baseball. What have your impressions been of those guys?
They're awesome. They're awesome. I mean, again, you saw that. I got to witness that across the field playing against them, but now again, being part of it, seeing the day-to-day routines, the work ethic, the intensity, and all the little things that go into being successful that, you know, the fans might not pick up on. You know, there's a lot that goes into it, and to see these guys, and it's not a fluke that they're the best in the game. They all work hard at it, and I'm, again, very excited to be part of it.
Talked about diversity in this game, and one of the you know, regular occurrences in this game is overcoming adversity, and you're one of the many players that has done that. That's nice and easy for your center fielder out there. But comeback player of the year with Seattle, just maybe talk a little bit about the ups and downs of your career, and that you're still here doing it.
Well, yeah, certainly, you know, baseball, it's a challenging sport, and it's presented its fair share of challenges to me. But, you know, I've looked at each one as an opportunity to overcome and persevere. And, you know, as I say, I haven't found anything else I love more, and I feel like I can be very good and very successful at this. And so, you know, it hasn't been the way you'd script a career, certainly, with 3 shoulder surgeries. But, you know, I believe in myself and my abilities. I feel healthy, and I'm excited for a great season.
And Royals fans, some will maybe like this, some won't, will be interested to know that way back when you played against the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, the ones that aren't KU fans will be upset with you that you didn't beat them. The ones that are KU fans probably happy that they beat your Princeton squad that day. But what are your memories of that?
It was just a great environment. Fog Allen, just unbelievable, packed house, and going in, you know, as a smaller school, having an opportunity to go to a place like Kansas and play. Roy Williams was a coach, and he was so gracious and welcoming to us. And it was just a great experience. We lost, I think, by 17 or 20, but played our hearts out and came up short. But you know, just the experience of itself was great, and I think it helped, you know, in certain ways prepare me for what I'm doing now, being in those types of environments, college basketball, playing in pressure environments, and certainly, you know, Major League Baseball isn't much different.
Well, you'll go to Kauffman Stadium now, and that'll be your new home, and a pitching park with some great outfielders that can run all over and cover a lot of ground. How much are you looking forward to that, being able to use your defense? And real quick on the defense, well, they just turned a double play. So with that note, welcome to joining the Royals. We're looking forward to seeing you all year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Chris Young. Take him and Brian Flynn. We got a nice basketball team.
Royals lead on a Hosmer home run, and fans, you can support Greater Kansas City Day on the morning of Royals opening day. Volunteers and local celebrities will sell special editions of the Kansas City Star on street corners from 6 to 9 a.m. Also, Royals American League Championship Series commemorative flags will be available for a $10 or more donation at KC area Hy-Vee locations. Now, the proceeds benefit the Rotary Youth Camp and other children's charities. For more information, check out Royals.com/Greater KC Day. Well, we'll see Kane lead things off, then Hosmer, who deposited a home run over the right field fence back in the first. Being grounded out to second base, and he rolls this one off the heel of the glove, and then he has no chance to get Lorenzo. That second baseman Tyler Smith, who booted that, likely given an error.
Ground's hard out here in Arizona, let me tell you. 90+ degrees today. That bakes that clay out there, and I tell you, you didn't have time to get in front of that, but he's got good enough hands. He probably should have made that.
Rex, you played for major league teams that trained in both Grapefruit League and also here in Arizona. What's the difference of the infield surface in Florida, infield surface here in Arizona?
It's more humidity in Florida, and so it's moister. It has a little bit more cushion in the infield. It's softer. Here in Arizona, man, it's hard, and it's a dry heat, so it's a lot different. However, you don't feel yourself sweat here like you do in Florida, but that's deceiving. You must stay hydrated. You must drink lots of water because it evaporates quickly, and you stay drier out here. So it's a big difference in climates, but warm weather is the whole key, and both states have that.
Which environment do you think the athletes prefer?
Well, I liked Arizona because it was a thinner air. The ball carried further. I was an offensive player. I try to hit a homer, man. You got a hacker, they'll send you back, Fizz. So I was trying to make teams, but I'll tell you what, one thing that affected the game of baseball, which always does in any time of year, is the wind. In Florida, the wind blew every single day. Most of the ballparks there, home plate's facing the ocean, and so there's always wind, 10, 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds. Here in Arizona, you get some wind, but not a lot.
Yeah, there are times, particularly during the daytime, where at 1 o'clock, the wind will be roaring out towards right center field. And then in the fourth inning, nothing. And right now it's rather calm here at Surprise Stadium, about 20 miles from downtown Phoenix, northwest corner.
But you know, there was a lot of things to do off the field in Florida. There's boats, you know, they got water, you know, you could fish, you know, you could do a lot of different things. Golfing was a lot of fun. And so we always felt sorry for the guys who trained in Arizona. But keep in mind, there's road trips in Florida. I mean, there's overnight stays. Nobody wants to stay overnight in spring training. You're gone all year overnight. So Arizona, though, is much different. And there's a nice breaking ball there. Haas couldn't lay off it.
And that is Paxton's money pitch. He not only has that high-octane fastball that can reach the mid to high 90s, but that kind of breaking ball. That is James' first strikeout of the evening. And now it's Kendrys Morales, who grounded out to second base his first time up. The Royals haven't been running that much during spring training, but they will, I believe, starting opening day. The last 2 years they have led the American League in steals with 153, and Kane at first base right now had a career high 28 last year, and that ball gets away from Zunino, and there goes Lorenzo to second.
That hurts Zunino. He'll have a little bruise. Tried to block that ball, hit him right in the quad, man. That hurts. He's going to have to walk that one off.
All-American at the University of Florida.
Hey. So home plate umpire Tom Woodring is giving Zunino a little extra time, sweeping off the dish. It's always a courtesy. Morales has never, ever in his career seen a fastball he didn't like.
And we saw a lot of him because you and I worked together with the Angels when Kendrys defected from Cuba and would sign with the Angels and had some terrific years. 2009, he was the number 5 man in the MVP balloting in the American League, hit over 300, over 30 home runs, over 100 RBIs that year. But then the very next year, he would have that awful injury at home plate, celebrating a walk-off grand slam to beat the Seattle Mariners. And he would land awkwardly on the plate, fracture the leg so badly that it took nearly 2 years to come back. Broken back ground ball, second base. Morales is out number 2.
He got all in his kitchen there. That's a baseball term. Hitters use, pitchers use it when they get jammed.
Well, here's Sal Perez, who singled his last time up. If he singles here, the Royals will take a 3-0 lead with Kane's speed. Actually does have a good arm and left. Strike one. One ball, one strike. Seattle last year had a terrific pitching staff, and Paxton was part of that. They were second in the American League in earned run average at 3.17. The 5th lowest ERA in the American League since the designated hitter was brought into the game in the 70s. This time that breaking ball misses in.
Now Paxton, he threw 74 innings last season. You know, compared to Ventura's almost 190 innings. You know, so he's a little bit untested for a full season.
And that ball is whistled to left, and that's a fair ball. Kane will score easily, and the Royals go in front 3-0 as Salvador Perez is 2 for 2 in the night.
couldn't Madison Bumgarner throw that pitch right there? Game 6. That's the one. Except the one Bumgarner threw was about letter high, chest high. Now he throws that one there, and the Royals win the World Series, Fizz. You see how he turned on that fastball?
You know, I thought about this in the offseason, Hud. Can you imagine what it would have been like at the K if Salvi hit a walk-off home run? The place would have gone nuts. It may have come down because all of us were worked up in the booth. And there's a fly ball struck to left center field. It's Ackley or the center fielder Chavez. And coming around easily to score is Salvador Perez on the Moustakas double. So the Royals make it 4-0.
That's it. How about Moose going the other way? That's a nice stroke. He kind of just lofted it out there, stayed inside that fastball. They're getting to him now.
And the left-handers are getting to him. The double by Moustakas, the home run by Hosmer. And here is Paulo Orlando, who has also had a good spring. And he is bidding for perhaps a reserve role. And camp breaks, and the Royals open against the Chicago White Sox. Right now, Gerard Dyson is the fourth outfielder. It's Gordon in left, Kane in center, and Rios in right field, with Dyson coming off the bench. But Ned Yost has said he'll probably keep 7 relievers, which means he'll keep an extra man, whether it's an outfielder or an infielder. We don't know. It looks like Eric Kratz has a clear edge in the backup role to Salvador Perez at catcher. Another ball in the dirt.
I'll tell you what, this kid has opened some eyes. He's a good athlete. In last season in Omaha, 501 at-bats, or excuse me, plate appearances. He hit 300. 34 stolen bases, too. So he can run. And that fits the Royals' mold.
Exactly, and you know how Ned likes to run, particularly the way the Royals ran in the postseason, where they upset not only battery, a pitcher and catcher, but the infield defense was moving all over the place, and the Royals got some clean hits. I'll always remember the bunt in Game 4 of the American League Championship Series by Lorenzo Cain that got runners into scoring position, and Eric Hosmer followed with a ground ball that scored both runs, and the Royals would win 2-1.
It's Chopper. I remember Bochy brought the infield in, and the minute he brought the infield in, Hosmer hit a chopper right over Crawford's head.
That was in the World Series. And Paxton really struggling with his command now, down 3 balls and no strikes. This likely will be his final inning. We told you he has been slowed by forearm stiffness following a fall at the beginning of camp while doing agility drills. And Paulo also an interesting story because he hails from Brazil, which is a soccer hotbed, and that's what he wanted to be growing up. And then all of a sudden he became better at baseball and fell in love with that sport. Knocked foul.
Talking with George Brett, who's been here from day one of spring training. He's here all the time, about Paulo Orlando. He said, you know, in Brazil, they only play baseball twice a week. You know, it's a sport that you got to play. Baseball, time after time after time, day after day. And in order to improve and get better, but since he's been playing baseball for the last several years now, 5 or 6, he's getting better every single year.
And he takes a breaking ball low and in for ball 4.
Showing some good play discipline there.
Second walk by Paxton. He opened the game rather wild, walking Escobar on 4 pitches and falling behind most of the Royals. And when he fell behind Eric Hosmer, 2 balls, no strikes, Eric knew he'd get a heater. He did, a low one in his wheelhouse, and he shot it out. Here is Omar Infante with 2 on and 2 out and 2 in. It's good to see Omar Infante back and healthy. He's been nagged by a bone spur in his right elbow. A cortisone shot was given to him about 3 weeks ago. They allowed it to calm down, and he felt fine swinging the bat, but still, he said about 80% throwing the baseball. But he said it feels like it's getting better and better as we get closer to opening day.
Sure hope he can turn two and throw the ball a lot better than he is now, because once he's not able to turn double plays during the regular season, that could hurt the Royals. His defense has got to be number one.
As Danny Matthews always says, it's not the double plays you turn, it's the double plays you don't turn.
Believe it.
In the dirt, and they may get Paxton out of here. As a matter of fact, Lloyd McClendon just got out of his chair.
He's tired. He's only gone an inning and a third, or excuse me, 3 innings and a third so far this spring. I mean, you know, he's just they're trying to work his pitch count to get him in some kind of shape, but he's a little bit off now. And that's what happens when you know, you're not quite on top of your game. Your mechanics fall off a little bit, and you're not able to put the ball where you want it.
The Royals will have the bases loaded, and Escobar coming up when we come back. It's Matt Anderson's job to get out of this difficult situation. He is a minor league pitcher who last year pitched at AA Jackson in the Southern League. And Matt Anderson, a right-hander, will face a right-hander in Alcides Escobar with the bases loaded and 2 out. Royals have scored 2 runs in this 4th inning to push their lead to 4-0.
Esky's going to look for that first pitch right here down the middle. Be ready. He's going to try to throw strike one. No.
In the dirt.
He put a little wrinkle on it, Fizz. He didn't want to give up Paxton's runs.
Well, maybe Mike Zunino, the catcher, knew that and said, you know, let's see if he can get that breaking ball over.
Okay, he couldn't. So now he's got to go back to number 1.
Escobar, 10 hits and 43 at bats this spring.
Yeah, that was good fastball, nice and firm. That's on the outer half, though. Now 2-0. It's coming back again.
Three balls and no strikes.
Looks pretty firm, too. That last one there was 94. Previous pitch was 95.
23-year-old right-hander, born in Colorado Springs, but lives in Southern California now.
Could Escobar possibly walk twice in one game this spring?
It could happen. It did happen.
Oh. Shocked the house. That's beautiful. We can get Escobar, if they can get him to take one walk a game, maybe 2. Heck, that's going to be good for those guys following him and knock him in.
Well, we told you at the start of the game, one of the reasons that Ned Yost felt comfortable with Escobar there was the success they had in September and, of course, in October when Esky went to the top of the order. And to be quite frank with you, here in Cactus League play, it appears that he's trying to be more disciplined. He's had positive counts even though he's only walked 3 times.
It's okay if you're frank with me, Fizz. We've been broadcasting a long time together, but look.
Yeah, usually I call you Rex, but tonight I'm calling you Frank.
If Escobar can work that on-base percentage, hopefully they'll score 4.5 runs a game. Last year it was just 4 runs, but look, just even a half a run more will be enough for that back end of that pin and the starters.
Well, Esky always provides speed and the ability to go foul line to foul line as Anderson opens his duel with Alex Gordon after getting ahead, coming back with a good changeup.
Heck yeah, that was filthy. Good action. After 95, you throw an 88 or 87. Big change of speed there. Good location down and away from the lefty Gordon.
Seems like he has tougher time commanding his fastball than he does the off speed. This likely will be his job to get 1 out. And he does throw a good breaking ball and strikes out Alex Gordon. But the Royals get a couple of runs in the 4th inning. They leave him loaded with a beautiful desert sunset here in
Back in surprises, the Royals lead it 5-0. We won't be seeing the closer tonight, not his night to pitch, which means we get a chance to visit with Greg Holland. And as you get down to this final week plus, for guys like yourself, Wade Davis, who we might see later and we talked to the other night, what are you working on at this point?
Just fine-tuning a little bit. You know, it's always a process when you start spring training. You're never, completely sharp. So just getting those repetitions in, getting used to the day-to-day atmosphere. We're all getting to that situation where we're throwing back-to-back and getting that under our belt. So this next week's just preparing for opening day.
How different is this now for you? I mean, I've asked you a million times about the rush and the nerves and the adrenaline, and you handle that so well. But from a few years back where you're fighting for a roster spot to now knowing I just need to get myself ready.
It's different because you're not as worried about the outcome as the process. A lot of veteran guys come out here and they give up runs, and the fans might get nervous about that and stuff. But they're working on different things to improve their game, to add that third pitch or refine that third pitch, or working on mechanical issues. So it's nice knowing that you got a spot on the team and you can work on things that you're not particularly strong of.
I asked Wade this the other night, and I don't know if we have an answer or not, but most bullpens usually have one or two guys that are just constantly entertaining everyone. You guys are all, I'm not saying you're perfect here, but you guys are pretty locked in, maybe a little bit more serious. So is there a guy out there?
You know, we all enjoy each other's company. We all have a good time down there. But, you know, it gets down to that 5th, 6th inning, and when the cameras kind of pan to you, you're already locking it in. So early in the game, we enjoy it. I think we're all kind of cut up, so you kind of got to be that way in the bullpen.
So the answer is there's not one guy.
No, I think we're all pretty much weird, you know, as far as that goes.
Dyson, I don't know if we could see behind you, is attempting to throw a baseball. Maybe we'll get a look at this here in a second after that little scoop. Gerard, come in here real quick, just to let the folks know what you're doing.
Having fun with the fans.
You want to hold up? So he's got this.
Shocker, they got it.
He had a baseball taped to the tape, throwing it out there like a fishing line.
Yeah, man, I'm working on something new this year, you know.
It's coming back now.
And they playing with me now.
We'll let you get back to playing with the fans, and we'll get Gerard in there later.
We need him in the bullpen.
Are you sure you want that?
I don't know if he could get outs, but it'd be a lot of fun down there, that's for sure.
Now, I don't know if he could get outs, and he would have a lot of fun. You guys do have fun. I thought it was interesting. Lou Kochaver was telling me from his perspective on the outside looking in last year that game would almost be over, and he said he would joke that I might as well just put the feet up, get a little umbrella in the drink, and just relax. It's obviously not that easy, but how great is it to have so many dominant guys in that one pen?
It's a blessing, you know, when you're as deep as we are this year, especially adding Hoach and getting Frazier back. It makes your job so much easier because you know the days you might need a day off here and there, and you got plenty of guys that can pick up the slack. And you know, from Skip's perspective, he can throw guys to get 1 or 2 outs. You can play matchups that way. So it's very dynamic, and you know, we kind of thrive off each other's competitiveness.
Well, as we look at Giordano here, and he's got 2 outs, so this thing could end real quickly, and we'll get ready to say goodbye. But what did the playoff experience mean to all of you last year, and how different was it than regular season?
It was fun. It was a learning experience, and I think now we handled it very well. I think come up just short, but I think now we know how to handle it, and we'll be ready to make that run again this year.
And as far as that bullpen, in conjunction with the rotation too, how much, I don't know, maybe synergy is there? Because we know that when you guys go out there, you get the job done. At the same time, they're saying, hey, we don't want those guys overworked. You threw the 2nd fewest innings in baseball, or in the American League last year as a unit.
Yeah, they do their job, and just like us down in the bullpen, they put in their work and their time. You know, they're showing up at the yard at 1 o'clock to stay healthy and be ready mentally and physically, and that's part of being a professional. And we know our pitcher's going to get us into the 6th, 7th, 8th inning more times than not, and that keeps us fresh for the days you don't have your best stuff and you got to cover 3 or 4 innings.
And you add a big 6'10" guy to the bullpen now too. I don't know if you need to break him in, but you guys just added some height.
Yeah, thank goodness, because you know, between me and Kelvin and Frazier, we're not adding a lot of height, but you know, we got him and Wade in there now, and Hoach, so it's kind of going to be staggered down there. Maybe we can alternate sitting and look really funny down there.
Well, no, that would be good. And if you add in Brian Flynn, there's another 6'7", so 6'7". So you already had all your point guards and your guards out there, and that'll do it right there.
Got a Gordo there.
And you always have a Gordo in left. Greg, thanks.
All right, thanks a lot.
Well, he talked about that postseason and what a run it was. Oh, yeah. Sit down, Mike Trout. More coming up from Surprise.
By Menards. Save big at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Welcome back to Surprise, Arizona, where the Royals have a 5-0 lead. And we are joined by, I guess you could say, former assistant general manager Dean Taylor. I put the words former, but you're down here, you're a consultant, so you're still with the organization. But Dean, you've been in baseball for 4 decades. What was it like to step aside and start your bucket list items?
We're doing that, Fizz, and you know, it's a nice refresher. It really is after 40 years, and it's something that Dayton and I had been talking about for the better part of the last year and a half, and I wanted to try to take a step back at some point, and I told him that it was likely that was going to happen at the end of the 2014 season, and if he would have me around in 2015 in some sort of consulting advisory kind of capacity, I would love to do that and be able to sort of go out on my own terms. Let's face it, in this game, a lot of times people don't have a chance to end their careers on their own terms, so I'm very grateful that he and ownership allowed me to do that, and I've enjoyed my time here in Surprise. I did have a chance to go home, actually, for about 10 days in the middle of the spring, and my family and I are planning on staying in Kansas City in the short run, and I'll certainly be at most of the games at the K this year, and looking forward to another exciting season.
But, Dean, you're part of all of the success. When you took over your job, the first time was 1981, and the Royals were on their way up. Of course, they win the World Championship in '85. You left for Major League Baseball to work with them for a while, and then you come back and you do it again, helping the team to get to the World Series. What has it been like, just some of your memories of being with this organization with John Schuerholz and now Dayton Moore?
Right. Well, you just mentioned two of the best general managers in the game, without question. I've been very, very fortunate to work with John, not only in Kansas City for 9 years, but another 9 in Atlanta with the Braves, and now this will be my 9th year with Dayton, and you couldn't ask for 2 better leaders for an organization. They're very, very similar. Obviously, Dayton came up in the Braves organization, and when I was there as the assistant GM in Atlanta, we actually hired Dayton as a scout, and he was promoted up through the organization. I believe he had come in as our director of baseball operations about the time I left to take the GM job in Milwaukee. So I had a chance to work with Dayton about 6 years with the Braves as well. But 2 great organizations. Obviously, the Braves had a great run in the 90s, and hopefully we're able to start some sort of similar run here in Kansas City.
Lorenzo Cain with a long fly ball to center field.
Dean, you get to do a lot of the clerical work. You know all the rules and the arbitration cases and everything. What aspect of your job did you enjoy doing the most?
Well, probably just dealing with the players and the staff on a daily basis. Somebody that sat in the chair that I sat in. I have a background in the minor leagues as well. I was a minor league general manager for 5 years prior to joining the Royals in 1981. And, when you wear that minor league GM hat, you deal with a lot of different areas: sales, marketing, promotions, the radio, the stadium operations. And I enjoy that, quite frankly, a lot. Is sitting in the chair that I sat in here as the vice president of our department, and really dealing with all the other people in the organization. It's not just the baseball operations people that put this on. You've got the sales people, you've got the marketing people, you've got the community relations, you've got media relations, you've got the finance people, you've got stadium operations. Hopefully I haven't left somebody out here, but it's a huge organization that it takes a lot of work to put on a good product, not just the product on the field that baseball operations is responsible for, but also everything the fans see at the K. And obviously it's a great experience there now with the renovation and the great facility that we have. So it takes literally hundreds of people every night, day after day, over 162 game season to put that product out there. So I've been very, very fortunate to deal with a lot of those people, and certainly the people in baseball ops are tremendous, and all the scouts and the player development people. That's where our product starts in its infancy, when the scouts find the players, turn them over to player development people, and they're the ones that craft those players hopefully into polished major league players.
We're visiting with longtime assistant general manager Dean Taylor, who is now a consultant with the organization, as we see Eric Hosmer strike out. But Dean, I wanted to get back to how satisfying it was, because you know how much work it took to go from where the team was to where they became last year. And it was almost like a release of emotion when they clinched in Chicago. What was it like for you? Because you and Dayton and the entire organization built that from the ground floor up, scouting, developing, and finally getting it and seeing its fruition on the major league level.
Well, you're right, and it was the culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of people, obviously, and it was great to see the clinching game in Chicago. What a tremendous relief that was. Obviously, the wild card game was a game that everybody in Kansas City is going to remember for decades to come, and then the great run through the playoffs. And, you know, you've got to give credit to the players and the coaching staff, and again, going back to the scouting and player development people. Obviously, if you look at our organization on the field right now, we have a tremendous nucleus on the field that was players that were signed and developed by our organization. So it's just a lot of hard work by a lot of people. And, you know, thinking back to the Braves, it was a very similar situation when we arrived there in '91. We went from worst to first. You may remember both the teams in the World Series that year. I believe the Twins and the Braves in the '91 series had been last place clubs. And it was a tremendous series that went 7 games, and, you know, the Twins eventually won it. But similar situation with the Braves to what we saw this last year with the Royals. The Braves were able to do it a little bit quicker than we were.
Morales hits one in the alley, and Kendris will have his first hit of the day. A double to left center field. So, Dean, it seems like you're stepping aside at the right time where you know the organization is good shape. You can see the youngsters coming over the minor league system doing well, where you're handing it off to 2 individuals who will really be filling your shoes, and then you'll be consulting with them on the side. And can you talk about the 2 gentlemen who will be filling your shoes?
Sure. Well, Jin Wong and Scott Sharp are the 2 new assistant general managers, and obviously have a great background in the game. Jin primarily administratively, and Scott obviously oversaw our farm system previously and did a tremendous job. They both have. But they both have great instincts for the game. They each know their roles, and the job is certainly in great hands, and I'm sure we're going to be continuing to move forward at the same pace as we have.
All right, Assistant General Manager Dean Taylor. Good luck with the bucket list. Cactus League baseball in the desert. Hosmer with a 2-run home run, sparking the Royals to a 5-0 lead over the Seattle Mariners. And fans, are you looking to spend opening day at the K? Well, you can still secure your seat to the home opener with the Royals full season package. Make sure you're in the stands for all of the exciting action this year by becoming a season ticket holder at Royals.com/season tickets or by calling 816-504-4040. And obviously, getting to the World Series and going to Game 7, well, the Royals are a hot ticket in town. They've sold out the premium seating in the Crown Club, the Diamond Club, and the Diamond Club box. They also have suite rentals for single games. They're still available. But season ticket sales should surpass the 2012 season when the Royals hosted the All-Star game.
It's outstanding. Folks want to watch championship-style baseball. Gotta love it.
And we like watching what we've seen from the starting pitchers the last 2 games against Seattle. Jeremy Guthrie, 5 2/3 brilliant work. And now Yordano Ventura comes right back with 5 shutout innings and going for his 6th. And there's a good breaking ball to Tyler Smith that strikes him out.
Ooh, man, he's got that curveball working nicely. That's a big bender. 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock on the dial. Beautiful little pause there. You know, he's got some style in him.
He does.
And he knows he's good.
And I don't think Dave Island likes that recoil.
No.
He wants him to finish.
No, and you know what? I don't think he does enough hot dogging out there to get other hitters, the opposing hitters, worked up. You know, he enjoys what he's doing.
Oh, he does.
He's got a lot of passion. This kid is the future of the Kansas City Royals. You know how King Felix for Seattle, Felix Hernandez, he's their franchise guy.
Ace Ventura.
He's going for his 7th or 8th career opening start. I believe it's the 7th for Hernandez. Ventura will have his first.
Felix finished right behind Corey Kluber of Cleveland for the Cy Young Award in the American League last year. Fouled off.
Yep. Dave Island said 90 to 100 pitches. That's just 70. Might see him another inning or 2, depending on how quickly he can get those outs.
Escanio right now, the 19-year-old kid, takes it low and in the dirt. 3-2. Raider Escanio.
The young players just keep coming. That's one thing about baseball that you can guarantee. And as a player, you can guarantee you'll be an ex-player. So they just keep coming, the young ones. And every year, a high school crop and a college crop of talent come out and enter the pro ranks and try to take the jobs that are up here. I mean, it's very competitive business.
And it always amazes me, a guy like Escanio, who's from Venezuela, where Venezuela is a baseball hotbed. And the countries surrounding it, they love soccer. Ventura will record the out, and that's number 2. But then you talk about the Dominican Republic, Rex. Tiny little island. Look at all of the great talent that they have produced.
Yep, and baseball's their premium sport for sure. And Ventura's another one of those gyms from that island.
Samana, Dominican Republic. As thought, Vahe Gregorian wrote a great article for the Kansas City Star about Yordano Ventura and the way he would train on the beach, swim in the ocean. And this little town he's from, they didn't produce that many great baseball players, but Ventura has become number 1.
That spread that they did in the Kansas City Star,
that awesome?
That was outstanding. That was on the front page.
Yep. Center field, Lorenzo Cain will take care of Andy Chavez, and 6 shutout innings by Yordano Ventura. Joe Goldberg will be talking with Royals great Mike Sweeney when we come back.
here in Surprise, Arizona, and soon to be Royals Hall of Famer. We're just going to start that now because for the rest of your life it'll be Royals Hall of Famer. That'll take place later this summer. Mike Sweeney, good to visit with you. And before we talk about the team, I just want to ask you about what it meant when you got that news a few weeks back.
It's the greatest news. It's like seeing sunshine in the midst of a storm. And I told you off camera about the tough couple months I've gone through with my father being diagnosed with cancer, and the last 2.5 months have been the hardest of my life. And for the Glass family and Dayton and Ned and these guys to award me with this honor in the midst of this trial, couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, I was glad you told me that he is headed home. And, when that news came out, I know you were very emotional about it. I think you would be no matter what. But, I mean, I know you started kind of venturing back down memory lane and the influence that your dad has had on you still to this day.
Yeah, and people ask me, who's your hero growing up? And, certainly I loved watching number 5 play at Angel Stadium, George Brett, when they'd come in town. And I loved number 5 for the Angels, Brian Downing, but my dad's always been my hero. So puts things in perspective, and he's the one that taught me this great game of baseball, and I get to live out his dreams. And, it's quite an honor to be coming into the Royals Hall of Fame August 15th. With every time I hear Royals Hall of Fame, I always think of Jeff Montgomery, because you always, hey, this is Monty, Royals Hall of Famer, Jeff Montgomery. And to join in a league group of guys like Jeff Montgomery and George Brett and Frank White, it's an amazing honor.
We can't wait for that. And you talked a little bit, too, about last time you were at Kauffman Stadium was the World Series, and your dad was with you, and I think your brother was with you. What did all of that mean, too, to be able to share in the team you love that you came up with that has been your family for so long with your actual family?
Well, it meant everything. People ask me what was the highlights of your career, and certainly it was great playing in all-star games and hitting game-winning home runs and doing things on the field. But by far the greatest memory of my career now, even though I wasn't wearing a jockstrap or spikes, I was wearing a suit and a tie sitting up in the booth with Dayton and the Glass family and George. But to see the Kansas City Royals in October baseball, and then to see them in the World Series in Game 7, it was by far the greatest moment of my career.
And so now you look out here, and I remember over the years seeing you come in and watching guys like, or come back and see guys like Billy Butler become veterans, kids that you tutored. Mitch Meyer broke into the league when you were with the team. He's now a coach on the squad. And now you see the younger ones like Hosmer emerging. What is that like to watch?
Well, it means the world to me. I mean, you look at the scoreboard tonight, and Ace Ventura, I call him Novato because he's such a great guy. I've known him since he was a 19-year-old kid, and he's thrown 6 shutout innings, no hits. He's just to see these young men become men. Hosmer and Moustakas, a few years ago, they were in A-ball, and I remember talking to them and saying, embrace the fact that you can be in the big leagues within the next couple of months, and know that you don't have to wait for a long time. And to see them becoming stars, and to see Alex Gordon emerge as a leader, and it's an awesome honor to be a part of this in spring training, and to see these guys who carry on the torch of Royal Blue, doing it in such a great manner.
Well, I wonder sometimes, I mean, there's so many roles you have in life, perhaps most important, husband and father, but I know that you like to impart that wisdom on these young guys, and I think about the story that you told us about Terrence Gore last year, maybe thinking about getting out of the game, and now suddenly he finds himself playing in the playoffs. I mean, how special was that story to you to see that influence? Because you encouraged him to keep going.
Yeah, well, Royals Hall of Famer Willie Wilson gave out the award about a week and a half ago to the base runner who gets the Willie Wilson Award, the best base runner organization. It was given out to Terrence Gore. And he said, man, Mike, without Mike Sweeney, I probably wouldn't even be playing baseball. And I'll never forget last July, I was in Wilmington, Delaware, and I invited a few of the kids to come out, including Bubba Starling, and I asked the guys to go around the table and share their heart. And Terrence said, my girlfriend's pregnant. I'm ready to quit. And to talk to him and to see tears rolling down his cheeks and inspiring him to never quit, never give up on your dreams. And to see him 3 months later stealing bases in the World Series and earning more money in 1 month in the big leagues than he has his entire life, to be able to take care of that little boy. Zane Patrick is the little boy's name. It's such a gift. So some days I wake up and say, why am I here? But then I realize I'm here to give back to the Royals because they've been so good to me.
When you look at this group, too, now, I mean, they're champions. I heard John Mayberry leaving the other day saying, don't forget, y'all are champions. They're American League champions, too. How different, if at all, do they seem?
Well, I think Ned Yost said it best. He said, these guys believe now. and they don't come to spring training in hopes of having a decent year. They believe that they can win the World Championship this year. And I spent some time with Peter Gammons about 2 weeks ago, and I said, Peter, who's your team in the American League to win it? And he said, the Kansas City Royals.
I like that. Well said. Nice to hear a few people out there saying it. Mike, best of health to your dad, and congratulations on the soon-to-be induction.
All right, go Royals. Thank you, brother.
The soon-to-be Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. I'll always love looking at those old highlights. More coming up from Surprise.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Watch spring training games and regular season games live or on demand in HD. MLB.TV Premium includes a free at-bat 15 subscription. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Steve Physiok, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg watching Yordano Ventura deal on Seattle. 6 shutout innings. This could be his final frame, as Dave Island, the pitching coach, told us when we had him on earlier. He'd like to see Ventura through 90 pitches tonight. He has walked 2, struck out 3. And Dave, I don't know how many times he told us last year when we'd talk about the development of Ventura, he'd remind us, remember, he's only 22.
Yeah, it's incredible when you think about it, how mature he is for his age. And you know, he's blessed with a great arm, but also, you know, the mentality that he's able to retain the game plan. And of course, Salvador Perez really deserves some credit helping develop Ventura as well. But they've done a great job with him.
Misses with the breaking ball, but when the 2014 season began and Ventura was part of that rotation, Dave Island said, I want to see how he bounces back from failure when the league makes adjustments. Can he handle it? And he said he showed me he could. And he comes back to open the 7th inning by striking out Seth Smith.
All fastballs. And when you have that type of velocity, you can use that pitch, especially when you can get a read on a hitter who's not getting close to hitting it. He's way behind it. You just stay with it.
Now 4 strikeouts for the evening. Facing one of the top hitters in the American League, Kyle Seager, 27 years of age, out of the University of North Carolina. And that ball sent to left field. Gordon is there for the catch, and 2 out.
You know, it's really nice in Arizona, Fizz, this time of year, especially during the day. It's not quite hot. You know, I mean, it's hot, but it's, you know, like 80s, 90, a little bit early 90s. But But nighttime is really special here because the fans, they don't have to slap the sunscreen on. They can relax. But I tell you, for the players, they're getting used to night vision. And they're having more night games now because they're trying to condition their eyes for not that bright sunshine during the day. And now they're getting into nighttime here and playing games. It's really very comfortable.
The Royals will have a day game tomorrow, and it will be against the Arizona Diamondbacks. It'll be a game that you can watch back home, but it will be the Arizona telecast. But it's expected to be in the mid-90s both Saturday and Sunday. It was a fastball that barely missed outside. Nelson Cruz, big hitter, who has 3 home runs this spring. Hit 40 last year in his 1 season with Baltimore. How about that? A 2-1 changeup.
Yep, that's back-to-back changeups. What makes that pitch so special is that it comes out of the same arm action as that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And there's a curveball, stayed up.
Escobar has it. Throws him out. That could be it for Yordano Ventura. Not bad. 7 shutout innings. Royals lead 5-0. Beautiful evening here in Arizona. Ned Yost, Dave Island with Yordano Ventura after 7 spectacular innings. Royals with a 5-0 lead. And Royals spring training coverage continues on Fox Sports Kansas City with 2 more spring training games in our season preview special. Watch the Royals and Diamondbacks tomorrow at 3 o'clock and the Royals and Padres Tuesday at 9. Royals spring training is on Fox Sports Kansas City. Dominic Leone is the new pitcher for the Mariners, 8-2 record, and he's a big reason they have really improved their bullpen because they have the closer and Fernando Rodney, and they have some arms like Tom Williamson and Charlie Furbish who pitched earlier, but Leone is a guy who can be a short reliever or a long man. He will face Alcides Escobar, Alex Gordon, and Lorenzo Cain. Don Wakamatsu talking with Ace. Ground ball to second base. Escobar is out. Tyler Smith remains in the game at second base, but we've got a new first baseman and Patrick Kivlahan. Alex 0 for 3 in the evening. Still trying to find his rhythm as he was slowed early with that wrist injury. He has just 3 hits and 19 at bats, and he'll roll that one to Smith, who throws him out. 2 gone. And Gerard Dyson will now come on to pinch hit for Lorenzo Cain. Dyson having a good camp, hitting .286. And Hud, he hit a home run to right center field about a week and a half ago. That was an absolute shot. I mean, it was about 10-15 feet up on the berm in right center, not down the line.
Yeah, you know, Gerard Dyson, Ned Yost is saying he's going to play him a lot like he played him last year. Even with Rios, his outfield ability, a slight difference than Aoki. He's got a little bit more range out there in the outfield. He says, you know, Gerard's a big part of their outfield. And I noticed in the clubhouse, he's a lot more calm. He's more mature. This kid's grown up a lot. I tell you, going as far as they did, they realized that they have unfinished business because they want a world championship. But that really helped these guys grow immensely in 1 year.
And his first base coach, Rusty Kuntz, really believes in him. He said he is our energizer. He's a real lightning rod in the clubhouse with his energy, his enthusiasm, his humor. There's a strike at the knees.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you got to have 1 or 2 guys in your clubhouse that can bring that, especially the humor, the ability to laugh, because you're with each other every single day, not just 3 hours a day during the game. I mean, you're with them all the time, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 11 at night.
Nice play by the pitcher. Leon throws out Dyson, and the Royals are done in the 7th. But when we come back, stay with us. Remember that guy, how excited he was? George Brett, when the Royals got back to postseason? Well, Joe Goldberg will talk with number 5 when we
Royals lead the Mariners. Giordano Ventura just walked off to a big ovation as Jason Frazier will take the hill. Pretty safe to say if this were the regular season, Giordano would be out there gunning for that no-hitter. But it's just spring training and a chance to catch up with Hall of Famer George Brett. I'll ask you first off about the kid, Ace Ventura, and what you saw from him tonight, and if anything surprises you with that kid anymore.
Well, nothing surprises me, especially after he pitched last year in the postseason and all throughout the season. But I know Dave Island was hoping that he could get the 90, 95 pitches. I think he's like at 75 right now in the 8th inning, you know, with a shutout and no-hitter going. So he didn't quite get to his pitch limitation, which I think Dave wanted him to get to. But we got 2 guys that have to throw, and Frazier and Davis. So he got early night. It's 5 minutes to 8, and he's already home.
Yeah, that must be nice for him, so he got his work in. How about for you? I know how much you love being out here every year, but this is the first time that the Royals are in Arizona as defending American League champions. Have you noticed any change in the group?
A lot more fans. A lot more fans were in Royal Blue. A lot more Let's Go Royals, regardless of where they play. And I think the first game that they played against Texas, it started off as Royal baseball. The first guy up, Escobar, walked and really didn't swing at some sliders down and away, which he has a tendency to do at occasion, but he had a real patient at bat. Dyson came up next, hit a little dribbler down the third base line for a base hit. And Kane hit one bouncer over the mound and into center field, and then we hit back-to-back home runs. So all of a sudden it's like, wow, we are a little bit different team, but I think we started off 8-0 and then had a few bumps in the road, but all in all. And the one funny thing about this is you pick up USA Today, you don't know how everybody else is doing because they don't have any base. They have one baseball story, no box scores, no standings. So I have no idea if we're in first place, second place in the Cactus League. But tell you what, they played pretty well.
They have played pretty well. And when you look at, we see a leadoff walk there for Frazier. But when you look at this final week and a half, I mean, is everybody at this point just chomping at the bit?
Yeah, they're tired of being down here. The weather's been incredible. It's been 80, 90 degrees every day. I think today was 95. The fields are hard as a rock. They need more moisture. You know, they're a lot moisture in Arizona or in Florida, I think, aren't they?
Have you been listening in on Rex?
No, but I heard he said moisture, so I wanted to get that in to back my friend up. But yeah, they're getting a little tired, I think. And you know, you're playing in this heat every single day, and every once in a while you have a night game. We had one Wednesday, we have one tonight. I think the rest of them are day games. But I think getting out of here, going to Houston in a few days, and then playing a few days down in Houston, flying into Kansas City, the boys will be fired up.
While we mentioned Rex, then I mean, you can learn a new word from him every day, right?
Once in a while. Once in a while I do. I had a long visit with him today. We were watching some of the team fundamentals, and yeah, he's good. I enjoy listening to him. Call the cops.
There we go. There's Jeremy Guthrie does it. George Brett does it. We've seen so many shots of you during the postseason, the excitement that you had as they were clinching these. And of course, you were part of clinchers many, many years ago, but you've answered questions for a lot of seasons about this team. What was it like to finally see this team that you love so much get there?
Well, it's the organization. You know, it's the organization I've been involved with since 1971 as a second-round draft pick. And you know, when I signed with them at 18, and I'm 61 years old now, and this is the only organization I know, so obviously I was very excited. And I know one thing, sitting up in the suite is a lot more difficult than it is playing on the field, because playing on the field, you actually have some say of what goes on, but sitting in the stands or in a suite with Dayton or whoever, and sitting there and just hoping that things go right down there, it's a lot more difficult doing it that way than just playing.
I saw those shots there, and our good buddy Tim Grimes, who's been battling cancer, the most upbeat guy that I know. You had a chance to spend time with him in there, too.
Yeah, one day I was just sitting in a suite up there. They put us all in a suite. Next thing you know, he comes walking in. He sits right next to me. It was a World Series game, I believe. And he and I are sitting together in Kansas City. I think it was Game 6. And we ended up beating them 10-0. I think it was 10-0, wasn't it? Beating San Francisco 10-0. I wish we could have saved 2 runs. Beat them 8-0 and then scored 2 more runs in the 7th game. But what a run it was last year. It was so enjoyable to see Kansas City go out and celebrate baseball the way it did and get everybody back involved and behind the Royals. It was really, really a great experience, not only for me, but for the whole city.
Curious what you've seen from some of the new guys. And you mentioned the back-to-back home runs. Alex Rios and Kendrys Morales were a part of that. What do you see from those two?
Big offensive lifts for us, hopefully. You know, Billy Butler is going to be a tough act to follow. You know, he had a great career in Kansas City, but Kendrys Morales, switch hitter. I think we needed a switch hitter in the lineup, and that's what he's going to be able to do. And Alex Rios, last year played with a bad ankle, a bad hand all year, played for Texas. They're 35 games out, and he continued to play day in and day out. He could have mailed the season in. I think just coming here and seeing his work ethic and the way he prepares himself, the swings that he does in the cage, the dedication that he has, I think he's going to be a big help for us.
And some guys that you've worked with now for years, Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas. Let's start with Moose, and it seems like there's a more concerted effort at this point to go opposite field. We've seen that from him, and even dropping down a bunt here and there.
Yeah, occasionally he'll try to do that in a game. He laid down a perfect one, got thrown out, but just to let the other team know he's capable of going to left field, I think is going to move the shortstop from playing behind second base. He's going to move him back in a position. In BP, he really works on it hard, and so far in the game tonight, he hit a good double to left center field. He flew out deep left the other day, and so he's made a concerted effort to hit the ball where it's pitched and not just feed it over there, but try to drive it over there. And Haas is, swinging the bat pretty good right now. First at bat, hit a 2-run homer, and then looked silly on a couple left-handers. That it's a little difficult down here when you're playing 8th inning baseball in the 3rd inning. You're coming in you're facing the guy one time. It's a lot easier to face a guy 3 or 4 times in a game. But so far, I think he's had a good spring. Again, I have no idea what the stats, but I know he's hit the ball hard and hit a few home runs down here, and hopefully he can bounce back and have a better year than he had last year.
Well, Hud mentioned that what he noticed a shorter swing in that first home run there early in the game.
And that was a count that. Really, you see a lot of guys get big, a 2-0 count, and usually guys get too big in that count, and he was able just to stay and put a nice smooth swing on it, hit it out of the stadium. So big at bat, and that guy's a good left-hander. So yeah, if he can maintain that and just not get too big, I think sometimes when you get 2-0, 3-1, you get a little big with your swings, and he showed right there that he didn't, and as a result, there were good results from it.
And that's going to come out to the mound right now, so I don't know if he's going to get another pitcher in or not. Made the change, get that work in, and move on to the next guy. George, thank you very much. Always enjoy catching up with you. We'll see you at the K all year long.
Okay, Joe. See you.
Royals Hall of Famer and Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, number 5, George Brett. More coming up from Surprise.
Top of the 8th inning. 2 runners on, a run home, and the Royals will bring on Brian Flynn, and he has been a terrific story. Those are not his stats. His stats are a 1.59 ERA, and he has really been strong all spring long. He has pitched 11 1/3 innings, given up only 8 hits, 2 runs, and what the Royals love about him, he gets ahead. 1 walk, 9 strikeouts.
Brian Flynn, he looks good. He's a tall guy. We talked about that, 6'7". He's got a nice downhill angle, tough to square up. He's got a nice fastball in the low 90s. He's got a slider. And those 2 pitches are all he's focusing on now, since he's going to be used out of the bullpen.
He was a starter for the Marlins, and the Royals traded Aaron Crow to Miami for Brian Flynn and also Reed Redmond, who's getting rave reviews in minor league camp. He's in the low. Probably will start in Double-A, Reed Redmond. But Brian Flynn bidding for his spot in the bullpen. This is his 9th appearance tonight. Fouled off.
We got to see him last Wednesday night for the first time. Looked pretty good, especially his agility, his athleticism. Watch him bounce off the mound. You see that nice firm fastball. Talk about that downhill angle. Look at him get over there. A little pirouette. He turned around. Headed right up the line the right direction. Good quick feet. Tell you what, this guy's going to help Ned Yost's staff this year.
A Midwestern guy who lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, played his college baseball at Wichita State. Great baseball and basketball school there. He's pulling for the Shockers in the NCAA tournament. Good pitch there. That was that wicked slider.
Young man there, he's walking back saying, man, I don't see sliders like that in A-ball. Yeah. It's got some hard bite on it.
But when you take a guy from the rotation, put him in the bullpen, all of a sudden his velocity with his fastball can go up. He can be more aggressive.
Yeah, he doesn't have to conserve. He doesn't have to face one hitter 3 times. He comes in there, and we saw that with Wade Davis. And he's getting it back in that bullpen. He's able to go full throttle.
Brian said he sat down with both Wade Davis and Luke Hochevar to find out how they mentally went from a starter to the bullpen and the adjustments they made, and of course the great success that they've had in their new role. 2 on, 2 out here in the 8th.
Had a chance to talk to Brian Flynn before the game today. First time he came up and introduced himself. I said, hey, Brian, how you like it here in Kansas City? He said, you know, being with this organization has been really special to see. No wonder they win. And they have such good young talent. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know, they're organized in here. There's no wasted time. You know, they have everything down to what they're going to do. They're very specific. You know, you're not just sitting around. You're always doing something, or you're off the field. It's impressive for him to say that.
Just off the corner. Rex, I went down to the minor league complex, and I was just watching base running drills. All 4 fields, Class A, AA, AAA, and the rookies were all doing the same drill, and it was just base running, and the last guy to touch home plate would throw his arms in the air and go up, up, up to the next guy. All 4 fields doing identically the same thing. And you work on that consistency, then it becomes second nature, and you do it correctly in the games. Flynn back in the count, now a 3-2 count. Sean O'Malley, a versatile player, can play the infield and outfield. Ground ball fielded by Noriega. Well, he has a whip for an arm, and he guns it across the diamond and gets O'Malley. Good job by Brian Flynn. Comes on with 1 out and 2 on. Gets the job done. Royals 5-1 over Seattle. And fans, next month MLB returns to Fox Sports 1 with a doubleheader as the Red Sox take on the Yankees in the Bronx, followed by a playoff rematch as the Royals battle Mike Trout and the Angels. Now coverage begins Saturday, April 11th at 11:30 in the morning on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Plenty of baseball coming your way this year, and the Chicago White Sox will come to town for the home opener on Monday, April 6th. We'll have Tuesday off and then play again Wednesday and Thursday against the White Sox, and then hit the road to face the Angels and then Minnesota, and then come home. And the first weekend series will be against the Oakland Athletics Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is always Buck Night, and they'll be honoring the 3 Gold Glove winners, Hosmer, Gordon, and Perez. And Saturday will be cool too, because they're going to have an American League Championship trophy replica that they'll give away on Saturday.
Oh, that'll be sweet.
Matt Fields the batter, and he shoots it down the right field line. Fields will hold at first base. Rex Mack has a little bit of you in him. I was talking the other day, and at the age of 25, he was thinking about switch hitting.
Really?
But the Royals needed him to be able to play consistently at Wilmington and get his offense going from one side of the plate. But he goes, I know he's a little older to try and switch hit, but I thought, what the heck, let's go for it. Royals turned that down, and he's been a right-handed power hitter ever since.
Well, you know, usually a guy that wants to go on the left side at this stage in his career does it because it'll give him an extra speed advantage by being on the left side of the plate. And by the looks of him, in that last hit there, he don't have much speed.
Well, he's a big man at 6'4", 250 pounds. And here is Kendrys Morales, 1 for 3 with a double to left center field.
Sooner you start switch hitting, the better. I mean, it gives you an opportunity.
You tried to do it age 18 or 19?
No. I did it in my 20s, early 20s. I was in Double A. And, you know, I did it for that opportunity to be on that left side of the plate, to get to the first base even a step quicker. Had some success, and then they went into a slump, and they shut me down. Good stroke there.
And Morales with his second hit of the night. So the Royals with 2 on and nobody out, facing a new pitcher in Carson Smith, who is a 25-year-old right-hander out of Dallas, Texas.
Okay, Morales talked about how he loves that fastball, and if there's anything up there straight, it's going to get hit. Good head position. He does have a lot of moving parts. You know, his legs, he's got a flamingo kick. Sometimes his arms are moving, but I'll tell you, that was a perfect swing there.
And he will come out for a pinch runner. Be Ryan Jackson. And the batter is Eric Kratz, hitting for the first time after Salvi got the start. Perez went 2 for 3. Breaking ball in there, strike 1.
Carson Smith has a kind of a short arm delivery. What I mean by that is he doesn't have a real long stroke with his arm. It almost looks like he shot puts it, but he's got a good fastball and slider. Throws hard.
He was a September call-up for the Mariners last year and did not allow a run in 9 appearances.
He's got some deception. Hard for the hitter to pick up that release point.
And he was pitching in some big games as Seattle was charging against the Oakland A's, trying to win that wild card in the American League. It went to Oakland, and the Royals got the other wild card. But Rex, you have to wonder, sometimes a game back in May decide your future. And I remember a game that Seattle had the 2-run lead, 7th inning, and Johnny Giavotella hit a 3-run home run to lift the Royals to a victory. If Seattle wins that game and the Royals lose, Seattle is the wild card winner because they had the advantage in the head-to-head, 5 victories to 2 anyway.
No, you're right. And every single game in baseball is important. as important in April as they are in September.
Kratz does not chase on a breaking ball that misses low, 2-2.
And, you know, Ned Yost, he has that mentality. He's taken his best players in hopes of them to be ready to win now. And, you know, that bullpen, that's going to be an interesting fight. Those are the only spots left on the team. There's a couple of spots that they're looking at. And they're going to go with the best guy. It helps them. It can help them the most. You know, Lewis Coleman, Morales, Brian Flynn, Ryan Matson might start the season in AAA because he's been out for 3 years, but he's really looked good this spring.
And Ned has been talking about keeping an extra bench player over an extra reliever. Here is Christian Colon batting for the first time, and Christian having a solid spring. He's trying to break camp with the big club for the first time, hitting .364. No home runs, 7 driven in. He had a big hit off of Felix Hernandez yesterday in the Royals' 3-0 win over the Mariners. But tonight's highlights were Hosmer's rocket shot to right in the first inning, a 2-run home run, and Yordano Ventura's 7 no-hit innings. Well, he snaps that breaking ball in there for strike 2. Just the way he delivers, I can imagine why he'd be tough on right-handers.
That's deceptive. It's some arm action that most hitters aren't seeing.
Another great breaking ball, and he strikes out Christian. So the first 2 Royals come up and get base hits. Matt Field and Kendrys Morales. Kratz and Colon strike out, and here is Moises Sierra, another right-handed hitter. And Sierra waves at the first pitch. Sierra, a very talented athlete with good power, good speed, terrific arm, fine outfielder. But he'll likely start the year in AAA. He is out of options. Paulo Orlando does have options. But we're still a week and a half before that opening day.
Yeah, what that means is the player that's out of options, he can become a free agent if he doesn't make the 25-man roster. He'll go on the waiver wire, and anybody can pick him up.
And Paulo is on the 40-man, and Moises is not. So they'd have to take somebody off to put him on. The Royals were able to sneak through waivers. Carlos Peguero last year, who had a very good season at AAA Omaha, but then signed with San Diego in the offseason. Royals started tonight's play second in the American League in batting at .290. 6th in runs scored. They've been averaging 5 per game, and they also have hit a lot of home runs. And Hosmer's blast was the Royals' 22nd this year. There's a grounder to short. Fielded, and a nice pick at first base by Kiblahan. 23-year-old Yordano Ventura gearing up for opening day, April 6th at the K, and he was sensational tonight. 7 no-hit innings, 4 strikeouts, had the curveball working.
Better believe it. They call that in the day a yellow hammer. That hammer was working, and also he had that fuzz, that petrol, that gasolina, that humpback cheddar cheese. We'll all be seeing it at the knees at the K on the 6th. He'll have one more tune-up. He'll probably only go about, 40, 50 pitches just so he can save all that energy for the folks at the K.
Steve Physiak with the king of cliche, Rex Hudler, as Wade Davis will come in and try and nail this victory down. Royals looking for win number 15. They were one shy of the Cactus High 15 by the Oakland Athletics. Wade Davis with that remarkable year last year, an ERA of 1. And whatever he does, Hud, he's going to be hard pressed to duplicate last year. There's a ground ball up the middle. Noriega has it. His throw, perfect. Tell you, his arm has really impressed everybody this camp. He was with Seattle's organization last year, but Noriega can wing it.
Fine defensive play. Start the inning for Wade.
(9-2) record, a 1 ERA. Look at the strikeouts and innings pitched. 109 to 72.
If he can do that again, that would be incredible. But that's a historical season.
Well, and what I loved about the Royals starting pitchers, they developed an attitude, somehow I've got to get the lead to HDH, Herrera, Davis, and Holland. And when they did, the Royals were remarkable. Last year, Kansas City was 72-1 with the lead after 7 innings.
Woo. Pretty strong. The rest of the world got to see it, too.
And they only got better getting Luke Hochevar back and then developing the depth, signing Franklin Morales from Colorado. And Ryan Madsen's been a real surprise in camp. And Hoch and Madsen both may start at AAA. We'll see. But the Royals want to be very careful with Hochevar because he's still just barely a full year removed from Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, Wednesday night we had Ned on, and he talked like Hoch would probably start the season in AAA. They didn't want to rush him. He's way ahead of schedule, and there's no need to rush him. With the nice new arms that's shown up this year in the bullpen, let him take his time.
Look at that. He makes quick work. He's got a look on his face like, man,
yeah,
that's pretty tough.
He's thinking it's his eyes. He was adjusting his eyes.
Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. Wade Davis also had the perfect attitude last year. He wanted to be in the starting rotation, but when Hochevar went down, Ned Yost went to him and said, we'd like you to come back to the bullpen. I'm going to give you a couple of innings to work. Next opportunity. Said, no, I want to work 1 inning. I want to get that mentality of airing it out immediately, being aggressive for 1 inning to get my power mind back. But he welcomed it. And wow, he was as responsible as anybody in the Royals getting to postseason. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Let's show that last pitch to the previous batter. Watch the deception in this pitch. Now the hitter's thinking fastball's coming, but that ball just really died. A nice little cutter that stayed down. Great location. Pitchers, when they miss in the strike zone, they want to miss right there, down. Okay, there's some 96 for you, folks. He'll go anywhere from 93 to 97. Good hard fastball, cutter, overhand curve.
Facing DJ Peterson. And DJ pops it foul. Kratz will give it a look, but that will find the seats.
You know, the Royals showed the rest of baseball the way to win games in this 2015 and beyond without power. Okay, you do it with great starting pitching. You do it with some timely runs. Don't have to score a lot, but you know, you just try to manufacture some runs. Speed, they led the league in steals. Great defense, and the back end of the bullpen, it shuts it down.
That was barely off the plate. Yeah, the Royals finished dead last in home runs with only 95, but ninth in runs scored, 651, and they believe they can improve both numbers this year. There it is. Strike three called at 95 miles an hour on the outside corner.
Waiter, check please.
I knew you were going to say it. Wade Davis wraps it up. Royals win 5-1, and they are now 15-9 in Cactus League play, but some impressive things we saw tonight, starting with Yordano Ventura, 7 no-hit shutout innings.
Game all revolves around starting pitching. If it's good, so will the Royals be good.
We'll be right back.